What up, guys? Yo, there we go. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the podcast. Got a couple things to talk about before I actually start doing this podcast. First, tomorrow, just a little reminder, tomorrow is the NHL Frozen Frenzy. That is exciting. 16 NHL games. 32 NHL teams, all 32 NHL teams play. 16 games, the most amount of games that can possibly happen in one day. It's going to be a great day for hockey, NHL-wise. There's no USHL games, sadly, but there is 16 NHL games, the most possibly. So, yeah, I think there's plenty of NHL games on tomorrow. I'll just say that. A lot of very interesting games tomorrow, too. The one that really piques my interest is the Predators and the Bruins. It's in Nashville. Predators looking to prevent going 0-6, and Boston looks to pick up a W in Nashville. Both teams have big reasons to want to win this game, and it's just a big game in Nashville. It's two very good teams as well, and I'm interested to see how the Predators play and just to see how that game goes. But there's a bunch of other very interesting games on that day. So just to let you guys know, Frozen Frenzy is tomorrow. Tuesday, October 22nd, 2024, tomorrow. So, yeah. Another thing, injury related. New York Islanders key forward Anthony Duclair was injured on Saturday's game against the Canadiens in the third period. He was driving the net and he went down awkwardly, and it's a lower body injury. And the coach, I don't know if it was the coach. I don't think it was the coach, but somebody, I don't know exactly who said it. Somebody in the New York Islanders organization came out and said publicly that it is more of a long-term injury than a short-term injury. That means he'd be out longer. That means he'd be out more towards the long side, like the long-term injury compared to a short-term injury. So that's not good. Hopefully he comes back as soon as possible, but not when he's not fully healthy. Hopefully he gets fully healthy as soon as possible. So yeah, hopefully he gets healthy. And then, okay, so from now on, starting today, I already made mine today, I'm doing a blog every Monday reviewing the past week of NHL. So every Monday, I'm going to be reviewing Sunday, like 2 Sundays ago from that point. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from the past week. So from 2 Sundays ago all the way to what would be yesterday at this point, and every Monday yesterday. So the past week of NHL hockey will be reviewed. I'll be writing about it, and I'll be going at the end of today's podcast episode. I'll be reviewing the one that I did today, and then you'll understand a little bit more. I'm doing that every Monday. I'm doing the exact same thing for every Sunday for USHL. Because it makes sense, because every Sunday we go over the USHL standings, and every Monday we go over the NHL standings. So it just kind of makes sense to put them on the same day we go over the standings. Sunday is kind of the USHL day. Monday, NHL day. Because it also works, because usually in my podcast, when there's both USHL and NHL games on, I talk about the USHL games first, and the USHL day comes before the NHL day. So it all just kind of correlates. It all makes sense. It all works. So I'm just going to go with it. I'm going to run with it, and we're just going to keep it going because I really like the idea, and I think you guys will like it, and I think it just works good. We're just going to keep doing it. It's a really good way to keep up around the USHL and NHL, which is what this podcast is about. So that's really good to keep up with that. And then today, what we're going to do is we are going to review Sunday's NHL games, go over the NHL standings, and go over my blog post. Hold up, guys. I'm going to mute for a second. Okay. So, yeah, we're going to be doing that. So let's jump right into and reviewing Sunday's NHL games. The game today is over, but if I do a podcast after the games are over, I'm not going to even talk about them because then I would have nothing to do the next day. So if I were to review today's game, yes, one game today for some reason. If I were to review the game that happened today, I would have nothing to do tomorrow. So that wouldn't make much sense. Actually, knowing the fact that there's only one game tomorrow, I'd literally have nothing to do because we already talked about the USHL standings and the NHL standings. I have nothing to do tomorrow. There's no blog, so I don't know. We'd have to see. But yeah, anyways, let's do it. Starting with the Jets and the Penguins. The Jets are 5-0, looking to go 6-0, and the Penguins looking to upset the Jets and Winnipeg. Kevin Hayes opened the scoring for the Pittsburgh Penguins on the power play, third of the season. Coming in clutch early in the season for the Pittsburgh Penguins, just by Rickard Rakell and Pool Party, 1:30 into the second period. Lars Eller makes it a 2-0 Pittsburgh Penguins lead. This is by Erik Karlsson and Cody Glass, 5:21 into the second period. Kyle Connor's fourth of the season brings it back within one for the Jets as Winnipeg goes crazy. This is by Nick Ehlers and Cole Miller. I'm pretty sure it's Colin Miller. Yeah, I think so. 12-18 in the second period. Seifert continues his ridiculously good start to the season. Fifth goal of the season already. This is by Colin Miller, his second assist of the night and third of the season. And Logan Stanley, his first assist of the season. 17:36 in the second period. Vladislav Nemestikov, second of the season. This is by Nick Ehlers. 31 seconds remaining in the second period. Gives the Jets the first lead of the game. Lars Eller unassisted, fourth goal of the season. 1:39 in the third period. Ties it back up for Pittsburgh. Adam Lowry, second of the season. This is by Appleton and Morrissey. 4:20 into the third period. Mason Appleton, assisted by Pionk. 7:41 in the third period. And Nino Niederreiter, empty net goal for the rest of the season. This is by Josh Morrissey and DeMilo, 17:30 in the third period. Winnipeg Jets are going 6-0. We will talk more about them in a little bit when I go over the standings and talk about all the teams in the standings. Avalanche get to pick up their second win in a row, even though they get outshot 26-22 by the Sharks. Ross Colton opens the scoring in his fifth of the season on the power play. This is by Nathan McKinnon and Cale Makar. 6:23 in the third period. Ross Colton second of the night. This time even strength. This is by Rantanen and Cale Makar. 16:37 in the third period. Ross Colton on a surprisingly good start to the season. 6 goals already this early into the season. William Eklund first of the season on the power play. This is by Gunlund and Toffoli. 18:25 in the first period. And then Joel Kivirantos. This is by Mason and Ludwig. 9:57 in the third period. And then Cale Makar, second of the season on the empty net. This is by Nathan McKinnon and Samuel Girard. 18:23 in the third period. Annunen, 25 saves and 26 shots. He was supposed to be a backup that played like maybe 30 games this season, a max. Maybe not a max, but around 30 to 35 games this season. He might even be the starter until Georgiev pulls his head out of his butt because Georgiev can't seem to stop a puck for his life. And Annunen just stopped 25 shots and 26 shots. Made 25 saves on 26 shots. I know it's against the Sharks, but they still have some good talent up front, the top 6. And he still had a really good game. Now, they couldn't get the opportunities going. This time, the Avalanche offense didn't have to bail out the goaltending situation. Usually, they have to literally put up 40-plus shots in goal to even have a chance of winning a game. This time, they only put up 22, and they still won a game pretty convincingly. That's a good sign for the Avalanche. No, maybe if Annunen ends up being consistent, he can be that starter until Georgiev really starts to get on a roll and starts to become that starter where he needs to be. That would be really good for the Avalanche. Kings take on the Ducks. These games, Avalanche and the Sharks Avalanche versus Shark, and the Kings versus the Ducks started at the exact same time. Adrian Kempe, third of the season. This is by Kopitar and Mikey Anderson. 3:06 in the third period. Yes, there's no goal to the first 2 periods. And then Alex Lafayette, fourth of the season. He's actually getting a surprisingly good start to the season as well. 8:58 in the third period. Ryan Strome gets the Ducks back within 1. This is by Terry and Petrano. 18:16 in the third period. And then Kevin Fiala, empty nets. This is by Donald and Gavrikov. 18:53 in the third period. Mikey Anderson, second of the season. This is by Turcotte in the empty net. 19:24 in the third period. Kings suffocate the Ducks. Only allow them to get 14 shots in goal. That is ridiculous. You only allow 14 shots in goal during the entire NHL game. I know it's against the Ducks, but the Ducks have some good talent up front. And they suffocate them to only get 14 shots in goal without your number 1 defenseman, especially a defenseman like Drew Doughty that eats minutes and very, very good defensive defenseman. That is ridiculous. And that's how good the defensive depth coming into the season, especially with Doughty, really is. So that's the games yesterday. I'm gonna say it because I'm gonna mention it during the standings. The Maple Leafs today beat the Lightning 5-2. They dominated him basically everywhere. I mean, I wouldn't even say they dominated him, but Vasi had a bad night. I will do a review of goal by goal and kind of do a deeper dive onto that tomorrow because I have literally nothing else to do tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be a super short podcast episode. But I'm not going to lie to you because there's literally only one game to talk about in the NHL. Zero games to talk about in the USHL. We don't got to go over any standings and no blog posts. There's literally nothing besides the one NHL game. So I'm probably going to yap about that one game tomorrow for as long as it possibly can, is to drag it out just so I have a decently long podcast episode. I don't want it to be like go down there, talk about the game, and leave in like 3 minutes. Don't want that. Load the standings here. Okay, finally. Anyways, so it was like this last time, and it's gonna be like this for forever. I'm pretty sure. Starts at the Eastern Conference, the Atlantic Division, and the Metropolitan Division, and then it goes to the Western Conference, Central, and then Pacific. That's how we're gonna do it because that's just how it is laid down in the NHL app. Don't ask me why. I don't know. It really don't matter at all. So yeah. Wait. Okay. It was the Atlantic Division, number 1, Florida Panthers. 4-2-1 for 9 points. They have 23 goals for, 24 goals against, -1 goal differential. They're in a 1-game winning streak. They had won their last game. They're looking really good. They have been without Matthew Tkachuk and Alexander Barkov for like probably I would say the last like 5 games, maybe around that way, 4 to 5 games, and they still winning games. They beat Boston without him. They beat CBJ. I know it's CBJ, but CBJ's actually been pretty decent to start the season compared to what I thought. They were actually like doing really close games and actually winning some games. They barely beat them, but they did beat them. They barely beat Boston, but they did beat them. They're somehow finding a way to squeak out these victories, and that's huge, especially early on the season. And when Barkov comes back, what's supposed to be pretty soon, within the next week or two, hopefully, because they said 2 to 3 weeks, like last week. So hopefully within the next week or two, if it doesn't get any worse, Barkov will be back. I don't even know if Tkachuk's back. I don't think he's back, and if not, I don't know when he's gonna come back. I really don't know. But yeah. They have 7 games played. They have 1 more than everybody else in the Atlantic Division, besides the Sabres, who have 1 more game than them, and the Lightning, Senators, and Red Wings, who they have 2 more games than. So they don't have the best win percentage out of the Atlantic, but they are still number 1 in the Atlantic at the end of the day, points wise. Number 2, Toronto Maple Leafs. They are 4-2. They won today on Monday. The lone game was the Tampa Bay Lightning. They beat them 5-2 in Toronto. Vasi had a bad night. They were very opportunistic in front of, especially just on the net. They were just swarming them. 20 goals for, 13 goals against, plus 7 goal differential. They have a better point percentage than Florida, which means if they had the same amount of games, Maple Leafs would have more points, more than likely. That's basically what that means. Percentage to get points. They just won their most recent game. So they're on a 1-game win streak. It's not really saying anything, but that's what it is. You can see over here on the right side of the screen, it says STRK, and then it says whatever. W1, then whatever number means if they're on a win streak. That's how many games in the win streak they are. OT means the last game they played, they lost in OT. And if it says more than 1, it means that's how many games in the last, how many, they went to overtime and lost in the past whatever number it says. And then L means that's what losing streak they are. Like the Lightning on a 2-game losing streak. But we'll get to them. Maple Leafs are looking really good. Austin Matthews is starting to catch fire. Martin is picking up points. Nylander's been even better than Matthews to start the season. He's been ridiculous, picking up another goal today. Tavares has been a little bit quiet. I'm not going to lie to you. He's been good defensively, but he's been quiet on the score sheet, I would say, a little bit. Riley's been doing good his part. Oliver Ekman-Larsson has been very underrated. He was a very underrated pickup, and I knew that he was going to be a good pickup, so I picked him up. And he's been really good, getting a lot of assists early on, a lot of points. Chris Tanev has still been probably a top 3 defensive defenseman in the league, maybe top 5 defensive defenseman in the league. There's McAvoy, Slavin, and I could probably name someone else that might be slightly better. But top 3, maybe. Top 5 for sure. Defensive defenseman in the league. And Jake McCabe been really good, picking up a lot of assists too. Defensive core is really, really underrated. Anthony Stolarz has been ridiculous. He made I think he only up 2 goals and 30 plus shots today against the Lightning. It was a very strong and good offense in the Tampa Bay Lightning. Stolarz is looking ridiculous, especially if Roll comes back and plays up to his full potential. This team could really have one of the best top 3 goaltending tandem in the league. Greg Berube, the new head coach, is really eager to win the cup. Not saying they're going to win the cup. I don't believe they're going to win the cup. But I do think they're going to make a deep playoff run this year. And the team looking really good. Matthews has been a good captain throughout the season. Maple Leafs looking really good. 3, Boston. They have 3-2-1 and 7 points. They have 21 goals for, 20 goals against, so +1 goal differential, and they lost the overtime in the last game. They have 3-2-1. Okay, that's their actual record. So yeah. Anyways. Boston Bruins Swayman's looking really good. He had a bad night on this first game that he played. Pretty sure he had a bad night in another night, but he's been really good. Especially against the hockey club. He shut him out for 55 minutes. And then they got on their board in the last 5 minutes of the game, and then they won in overtime. Hockey club won in overtime. They came back in the last 5 minutes, scored, and then won in overtime. Boston looking real good though. Defense looking top 5 defense in the league, like most people expected it to be. Swayman looking like a top 5 goalie, which most people expected him to as well. Lindholm fitting in like a glove of life. Lindholm and Nikita Zadorov has been very good, big defensive defenseman, physical presence back there. McAvoy doing good. Pasternak's doing good again. Marchand, Coyle, Zacha, all those top 6 big offensive pieces that need to step up have been stepping up. They're looking really good. They're looking like a strong contender in the Atlantic. This is what I think is the top 3 in the Atlantic Division is going to be exactly. 1, 2, and 3 at the end of the season. Looking good. 4, Tampa Bay. They have 3-2 in 5 games. They have a good win percentage of .600. They have a better win percentage than Boston, who's the .583 point percentage. They have 18 goals for, 15 goals against. They have +3 goal differential, and they are on a 2-game losing streak. They have lost the past 2 games, including to the Ottawa Senators 2 games ago and Maple Leafs today. They started off the season really good. They started the season 3-0, and then they lost the most 2 recent games. So just because of the start alone, they ranked number 4. But the Senators did beat them, so they should be above them in the standings. But I don't know why they're not. Maybe because they have 4 more goals against. I don't know. It just doesn't make sense. They have a win over them. They should definitely be above them. But I don't know. So yeah, that's where the Lightning stand right now. Vasi had a bad night today, but outside of today, he's been looking good. Defense is looking better than most people thought. And then Kucherov has like 7 goals already. So yeah, they're looking really good, and he has a lot of assists too already. So yeah, he's looking really good. 5, Ottawa Senators, same record as Tampa Bay. They are 3-2. 6 points. They have 18 goals for, 19 goals against, -1 goal differential. They had a 1-game win streak. They won the most recent game against the Lightning, which they should be above the Lightning, but they are tied for number 4. Anyways, Ottawa's looking good. Linus Ullmark looking like a good, stable goaltender. Backup definitely questionable. The defense is looking better than what I thought, and the forward core is looking good. Definitely looking pretty good, but not like no top Atlantic contender. But they're looking like a strong wildcard contender for sure. 6, Montreal, they're 2-3-1 for 5 points. They have 16 goals for, 21 goals against, -5 goal differential, and they lost in overtime, slash shootout in the most recent game. Lost in a shootout to the New York Islanders in the most recent game on Saturday. Montreal look really good this start the season. They still do look pretty good, but they're definitely losing games with late, but they're also winning some games. They definitely can win games, but they can also definitely lose games. So they would like to become a little bit more consistent, but what they do. Tied for 6th place, but they have 1 more game played than the Canadiens. Sabres, they 2-4-1. 5 points, 21 goals for, 26 goals against, -5 goal differential. They won the most recent game against the Blackhawks. They are dropping games that they could win, like that Kings game in the second game, your third game, I guess. They could have won that game, but they dropped it 3-1. The Blue Jackets game, the second to last game that they played, they could have won that game. They dropped it, but they did beat the Blackhawks. I do think they're still going to make the playoffs. I just really have high hope for this team just because of how good this team looks on paper. But, expectations are always high for this team. They always find a way to flunk out. I don't know. We'll have to see what they do here. So yeah. Moving on here, Buffalo. We just went over them. Detroit Red Wings. They are 2-3 for 4 points. They only played 5 games, which is tied for the least amount in the entire Atlantic Division, possibly the league. Not sure. They have 14 goals for, 17 goals against, -3 goal differential, and they won the most recent game against the Nashville Predators. They are looking decent. Cam Talbot looked really good in the game that he played. Lyon's looking really good in the couple games that he plays, so that might be the goaltending tandem. Ville Husso already got sent down. Defense looking very, very concerning. Goaltending looking okay, but not that good. And offense is looking good enough, but not like gonna carry them to the playoffs single-handedly good. We'll have to see what they can do when they play more games. They play tomorrow. Who do they play tomorrow? I'm not 100% sure off the top of my head, but they do play tomorrow. Every team plays tomorrow, but yeah. That's what we're looking at for the Atlantic Division, October 21st. This Monday. It's going to be this Monday. New Jersey Devils. They have the most games played in the entire NHL. Thank you for the great scheduling, Gary Batman. Anyways, 8 games played. They're 5-2-1 for 11 points. 688 point percentage, which probably is the best in the league, which it does say something because they have the most games played. They still have the highest point percentage. It's impressive. Never mind, the Rangers have a higher point percentage. Never mind. That just kind of shut me down. Same thing with the Capitals. Anyways, they had 27 goals for, 20 goals against, plus 7 goal differential, and they lost in overtime in the most recent game. Yeah, to the Capitals. They're looking really good. Really good. Markstrom's looking like the goaltender that they needed to make a deep playoff run. Defense, looking really good, especially Dougie Hamilton back in the lineups. Seamus Casey's looking really good, replacing Luke Hughes. The forward core is looking just as good as I expected to. Top 6, probably top 3, top 6 in the league, maybe top 5, top 6 in the league at the very least. And their depth looking really good, especially Paul Cotter. Wayne Gretzky might be his cousin or something like that. That's not true. I don't think. I don't know that, but it's just a joke because he's been on fire as of late. And he's just like a third or fourth liner. He's actually fourth liner coming into the season. He's probably a third liner by now, but still, he's ridiculous right now. The whole team's clicking and they're looking really nasty. You do not want to face them. Next, Rangers. They only have 5 games played, but they have 4-0-1 for 9 points, 24 goals for, 10 goals against, plus 14 goal differential, 3-game winning streak. They look like one of the best teams in the league right now. They have the best win percentage in the league, at least what I can assume so. They have a 900 point percentage. They look real good. Shuck and look like the best goalie in the league besides Connor Hellebuck, technically, statistically, and Jake Allen, statistically, but Jake Allen's only played like two games, I think, something like that. Shukin looking like a top 3 goalie in the league statistically right now, one of the best, if not the best goalie in the league right now in general, because he's played like I'm pretty sure every game, most of the games for sure. For New York, and the New York's let up 10 goals in 5 games. That means they average 2 goals a game, which is ridiculous. That is ridiculous. That is really good defense and goaltending. Offense is clicking because they've got 24 goals for, which is one of the best in the league so far in this season. They are looking really, really good. 24 goals for in 5 games is ridiculous. That means they average, like, off the top of my head, like 5 goals a game, something like that. Yeah, I would say like around 4.5, maybe a little bit over 4.5. I don't know, around the 4.5 goals per game mark. Not doing any math, just assuming off the top of my head, around 4.5 goal per game mark, which is really, really good. 4.5 goals per game and 2 goals allowed per game. That's really good, really good. Rangers are looking real good. You don't want to face them. They are proving to be a top contender in the Eastern Conference, as most people expecting them to be. For Washington Capitol, they are 3-1 for 6 points, 16 goals for, 14 goals against, plus 2 goal differential, and 3-game win streak. They beat the Devils in overtime. They beat the Hurricanes, and they beat the Knights. I think no, they didn't beat the Hurricanes. I don't think they beat the Hurricanes. They beat the Stars. They beat the Stars, Knights, and Devils. Those are 3 upsets. They have 3 upsets in this week because I know they're on this week because I just wrote a blog about it earlier. They had 3 upsets this week. They beat the Knights, and then they beat the Stars, and they just beat the Devils most recently. They are on fire right now, being some top contenders in the league, and they're looking assy. Goaltending, Logan Thompson and Charlie Lindgren looking like a very good and a very underrated goaltending tandem. The defense is looking like a sleeper top 10 defense in the league. And Ovechkin's got a goal, maybe 2, I'm not 100% sure. He's got a couple assists too. And the offense is looking pretty good. Nowhere near one of the best. That's going to be the downfall of the forward group. But the defense is top 10 in the league, and goaltending team is one of the most underrated in the league. So they're looking really good right now, upsetting teams left and right. If you're a top contender, you do not want to face them right now because they're beating all the top contenders. Number 4, New York Islanders. In 5 games played, they are 2-1-2 for 6 points. They have 14 goals for and 14 goals against, 0 goal differential, and they won the most recent game against the Montreal Canadiens 4-3 in a shootout. Classic Islanders losing a bunch of games in overtime because they can't seem to win in overtime / shootout. Don't know why they can't do it. They haven't been the past couple years. Sorokin's looking like a very good goalie. He's looking like he's bouncing back, and hopefully he's a top 10 or he'll be top 5 goalie in the league again. Varlamov's looking like a very solid backup. Top 5 defense in the league. They've been playing like it for sure. And the offense is looking a lot better. Yes, Duclair went out, and that's going to suck until he comes back. But I do think because they've been able to deal with, because they just picked up Duclair this past off season. So that means they've been able to deal without him and getting top 3 in the Metropolitan Division without him. I think they'll be fine until he comes back. So yeah. And there's Penguins in 7 games. They are 3-4 for 6 points. They had 24 goals for, 31 goals against, -7 goal differential, 2-game losing streak. They're not looking good. Jari is not looking good at all. The backup, oh my God, what's his name? I don't remember his name. It's like on the tip of my tongue, but I don't remember. Backup's not looking that good. He's a rookie, so I'm gonna give him slack. Defense not looking that good. Malkin and Letang. Malkin and Crosby are looking really, really good in the forward group, but outside of that, the forward group's really lackluster. Lost Ellis had a pretty decent start. Paul Party had a few assists. Kevin Hayes got 3 goals, but they definitely lackluster up front. That's the main problem. And goaltending and defense, just all around, they're not that good of a team, and I knew that coming into the season. Hurricanes, they only have 4 games played. They're 2-2 for 4 points, 12 goals for, 11 goals against, 1 goal differential, and they lost the most recent game. They only have 4 games played, but they're looking really good. Anderson's looking really good. Really good. Kochekov's looking really good. Defense is looking like top 5 in the league, which I expected it to. Offense looking really good. I also expected it to. Depth does look to be hurting them slightly, but not nowhere much as what some people said that it was. And I kind of said that. I don't think it's going to affect them as much as people think it is, but we'll have to see more of a sample when we have more of a sample size to go off of. They only have 4 games played. Blue Jackets, they are 2-3 for 4 points. They have 18 goals for and against, 0 goal differential, 1 game losing streak. They are better than I thought to start the season. They won 2 games, they lost 3. One of those was to the Panthers, and 2 of them I'm pretty sure to the Wild, at least one of them, but I'm pretty positive they lost both. There were 2 of those 3 games to the Wild, and the other one to the Panthers. They're looking low-key decent. Like, if you face the Blue Jackets, you do not want to take them lightly, because they can definitely steal a game. So yeah, 8 Philadelphia Flyers. They're very similar to the Blue Jackets. They are 1-3-1. The only difference is they lost in overtime. If they won that overtime, they would have had the same record, but they lost in that overtime when they faced the Oilers. 13 goals against. Yeah, 13 goals for, 21 goals against, -8 goal differential in their 2-game losing streak. Flyers are looking like worse than they did last year, like what people expected them to look like last year. Michikov is looking good. That's good for the Flyers, but the rest of the team's not really looking that good. That is Eastern Conference. 28 minutes in this podcast. I gotta do the Western Conference, and I gotta go over my blog. Central Division. This has been the most chaotic division. Specifically, the entirety of the Western Conference has been by far the most wild and chaotic and unpredictable and crazy conference so far. Number 1, 5-0, Winnipeg Jets. They had 10 points. They had 24 goals for, 8 goals against, plus 16 goal differential, 5-game win streak. They haven't lost a game. 5-0. Connor Hellebuck's been statistically the best goalie in the league. He's coming off a Vezina trophy, which is the best goalie in the league. He won the Vezina last year, and if he keeps up this pace, like obviously he's not going to end up with a 970 save percentage. But he keeps up with this pace and gets like a 925 save percent, 925 save percentage again. He will win Vezina back to back, and that would be very, very crazy. Jets, they're clicking. The top guys, Kyle Connor, Nick Ehlers is very underrated, and Mark Scheifele's going crazy start. Kyle Connor's been a good start. All the top guys have been ridiculous. Depth pieces, Adam Lowry, Appleton, all those guys are looking really good on the depth. Defense, Josh Morrissey, one of the most underrated number 1 defensemen in the league, and outside of him, they're looking good too. And Connor Hellebuck's been the best goalie in the league to start the season. They really are just clicking. They did this 2 years ago. They fell off a little bit and then got smacked in 5 games by the eventual Stanley Cup champions, Vegas Golden Knights. And then they did this last year. They kept the same pace. They won second in the Central. They almost won the Central. They almost won the Western Conference. And then just get smacked in 5 games by the Avalanche. So I want to see if they're able to keep up this pace and see, and then come playoff time, if they do make the playoffs, will they be able to do anything in the playoffs? We'll have to see. 2, same amount of points, Dallas Stars, but they have one more game played. In that game, they lost to the Washington Capitals. They are 5-1 and 10 points. 18 goals for, 9 goals against, plus 9 goal differential. 1 game, 1 streak. They won the most recent game against the Oilers. They're looking really good. DeSmith and Andre both have shutouts early in the season. They had back-to-back shutouts, actually. And they're looking really nasty. The offense is clicking exactly like people thought it would. The defense is better than people thought, specifically Dumba and Labushkin. Like, those death pieces that were going to be concerning, they look pretty decent. And the Adam DeSmith looks like a top 3 goaltender tandem in the league. So, yeah, they're looking really good. Dallas Stars are pretty safe to get at least a divisional seed, probably number 1, maybe number 2, but more than likely number 1. I think they're still going to get number 1 pretty convincingly in the Central Division. Number 3, Utah Hockey Club. They're 4-1-1 for 9 points, 22 goals for, 20 goals against, plus 2 goal differential. 1 game. They won their most recent game against the Boston Bruins, 2-1 in overtime. I thought they were going to be really good, a lot better than people thought. I think they were going to get the first wildcard spot, and then Jets would get the second wildcard spot. I didn't even, the Utah Hockey Club Glazer himself, the guy that thinks that they're really good, but a lot better than other people think. I didn't even expect this type of start. They're looking nasty. Offense, absolutely ridiculous. Defense, doing a lot better than what it was last year. And Ingram and Velchmelka are looking great too in net. This whole team's clicking right now. They're number 3 in the Central Division. For a while, Gustafsson has been lights out. They're 3-0-2 for 8 points. 15 goals for, 11 goals against, 2-game winning streak. Gustafsson has been lights out for them to start the season. He also got a goalie goal. That helped. The team's been doing real good. I do think they're going to fall out and miss the playoffs still, but I don't know. You never know. Blues, they are 4-2 with 8 points, 17 goals for and against, 0 goal differential, and a 2-game win streak. Bennington and Hoffer both have been lights out to start the season. One of the best goalies, one of the most underrated goalies in the league. Again, the defense has been a lot better than I thought. The offense is just as I thought, really pretty good. Bennington and Hoffer has been a lot better than I thought, and Bennington's about how I thought he was going to do. So yeah, 6 Blackhawks and 6 games played. They are 2-3-1 for 5 points, 15 goals for, 18 goals against, 1 game losing streak. They lost the most recent game to the Sabres, but they won the second most recent game to the Sharks in Chicago, but they lost the most recent one to the Sabres in Chicago as well. They're looking better than I thought. Peter is just as good as what I thought he was going to be. He's very, very underrated. He's doing good, but I don't even know if Brossoit played a game yet. I'm not sure. Anyways, the defense is looking a lot better than what it was last year, and their offense is looking a lot better than last year. The power play is looking like a top 3 power play in the league to start the season. That's obviously not going to end that way, but to start the season, they literally statistically are. And the Penguins are looking pretty good too. The team's looking pretty decent, but their team's not picking up wins. I think they're definitely going to fall to number 8, but they're still going to pick up. I had them finishing 20 more points above what they had last year. I still stand on that. 7 Colorado, they're 2-4 for 4 points, 21 goals for, 29 goals against, 2-game win streak, minus 8 goal differential. Georgiev sucked to start the season. Annunen started his first game last game against the Sharks. He made 25 saves and 26 shots. They're in a 2-game win streak right now. I think they're going to start winning games, especially if Annunen keeps playing this way. They're going to climb up the rankings. I think they're going to get top 3 in the Central, at least top 4 or 5 in the Central, top 4 in the Central soon enough. I think they'll be fine. 8 Predators, 0-5 for 0 points. The only team without a point this so far in the season. 10 goals for, 23 goals against, minus 13 goal differential. It's a 5-game losing streak. They lost 5 games, 0-5. Saros has been trash to start the season. He's going to get back on the right track. When Saros gets back on the right track, Stamkos already got a goal. Montreal's got a few points. Shea's been great defensively. So as soon as they start gelling and clicking, specifically Saros, and I know Saros will get back on track. But when is a question. He needs to get back on track before it's too late. I feel like tomorrow is a must win. I wouldn't say must win, but they really want to win that game tomorrow. If they lose tomorrow, they put themselves in a bad situation, especially in a strong Central Division. I feel like they kind of need to win tomorrow in Nashville to defeat Boston. Saros needs to have a good game, bounce back, start to get in the right track, and then if they win tomorrow and they start winning games, Saros gets better. They start climbing the rankings. But they need to win 1 game to start to come back here. We're going to go over the Pacific Division, and then we're going over the blog, and then we're done. Number 1, Calgary Flames. They're 4-0-1 for 9 points, 20 goals for, 12 goals against, plus 8 goal differential, and they lost overtime in the most recent game to the Seattle Kraken 2-1. Great game for Joey Daccord, by the way, in the last game. Flames started 4-0 to start the season. They won the lost most recent game. I think they're still gonna fall down to around number 7 or number 6 in the Pacific. Probably around number 6, just because how good of a start they had. But either around number 6 or number 7 in the Pacific Division by, I don't know exactly, but they will soon enough. But they are looking a lot better than I thought. I'm not gonna lie to you. There's a bunch of guys in their team that has something to prove to the entire world. So they're proving it right now. 2 Kings, 3-1-2 for 8 points, 21 goals for, 19 goals against, plus 2 goal differential and a 2-game win streak. If they won at least one of those overtime/shootout games, they would be tied for number 1. And if they won both of them, they would have the number 1 spot. The defense is suffocating. The goaltending's been inconsistent. Just ask Darcy Kemper when they lost 8-7 in overtime to the Senators. A bit inconsistent, but it's definitely been pretty decent. So the Kings are looking pretty good. I do think they're still going to barely miss the playoffs, but they're going to be really close as I expected them to. 3 Kraken, 4-2 for 8 points. They have 22 goals for, 17 goals against, plus 5 goal differential, 3-game win streak. Beat the Flames in the most recent game. They're in 3-game win streak. They're looking really hot right now. They're looking very good because their top guys, their top 6 specifically is clicking. The bottom 6 is doing really good. Montu and Stevenson looking like great acquisitions. The Court and Gurau are both looking really good. If they can uphold this the entire season, they could make the playoffs, and that's what they did in the 2023 season when they upset the number 1 seed Avalanche. So they might be a sleeper to keep this up. I still think they're gonna miss the playoffs. Still think they're gonna finish a 5 seed, but I do think they're gonna be really competitive. For the Knights, they were 3-0 at one point, and they went on a 2-game losing streak and lost in overtime the most recent game, 3-2-1 for 7 points, 23 goals for, 20 goals against, plus 3 goal differential, lost in overtime the most recent game, but lost 2 regulation games before that, so technically on a 3-game losing streak. Knights on a bit of a skid here, but I think they get back on track. I think Samsonov and Hill is going to be better. They'll still have a top 5 defense in the league for sure, and forward core is looking really good. I think they're still going to end up finishing number 3 in the Pacific Division. Definitely divisional seed for sure. 5 Vancouver, 2-1-2 for 6 points, 14 goals for, 15 goals against. 2-game win streak. This is the thing. They started off bad, but they caught themselves before it got too bad. They're winning 2 straight. That's a problem with the Predators. I'm not worried about them eventually winning games. I'm worried about when they start winning games and if it's too late. Because if it's too late, there's too big of a hole to climb out of, and they're not going to be able to come back. If they win soon, preferably tomorrow for them, they can get back on the right track, and there won't be any business. Especially if they start clicking, I know they can win a lot of games, and they will win a lot of games when they start clicking. So they just need to get a win, get it off their shoulder, get the weight off their shoulder, and then just start winning a bunch more games. But they need to get a win before it gets too late, and they climb themselves into a deeper hole. Vancouver is a perfect example. They were 1-2 to start the season, and then they won 2 straight, and just like that, the 5 seed in the Pacific Division, they are 1 win away from being tied for number 2 in the Pacific already. 1 win away. You get what I'm saying here? They naturally need to win preferably tomorrow for them, but within the next 2 games, because if they lose both of the next 2 games, they might be screwed. 0-8, they're done. It's bad. I don't know if they can be able to get divisional seed after that. It's bad. Especially with the Jets and the hockey club having a crazy start. They'll have to win. I feel like they have to win tomorrow for sure. I think they will win tomorrow. I think they're gonna win like 3-2, 3-1 or something tomorrow. I'm expecting a UC Soros big game tomorrow from UC Soros. Calling it now on the podcast. Okay, if he does it, come back to this. Okay, UC Soros either gonna let up 1 or 2 goals tomorrow. A huge game coming from UC Soros. Predators are gonna win either 3-2 or 3-1. Calling it now. Anyway, 6, 2-2. And 1 for the Anaheim Ducks. 5 points, 12 goals for, 15 goals against. They lost the most recent game. They're looking decent. The forward core is looking okay. The offense is looking pretty bad, I'm not going to lie. Defense is looking a lot better than I thought. And Dostal has been ridiculously good. Gibson hasn't got much playing time. Goaltending is looking really good, specifically Dostal. Defense is looking pretty good. Offense definitely needs to pick it up a little bit. 7 Edmonton Oilers. They're 2-4 for 4 points, 12 goals for, 24 goals against. And then they lost the most recent game to Dallas Stars. They started 0-3, and then they beat the Philadelphia Flyers, and then they turned around, beat the Predators, and then they just beat the Dallas Stars team. They were better than the Stars through the first 2 periods. Duchesne got a good goal at the end. It was like 20-something seconds left in the second period, and they carried over the momentum, scored 3 goals, 2 unanswered goals in the third period, went up to 3-0. Edmonton got one back, and then it was too little, too late. Jason Robertson put in the empty net. Edmonton's looking really good right now. They just faced the Dallas Stars team. They should have won that game, but they did lose. And Edmonton's looking really good. If they will string together some games, get back in the top 3. Calling it now again. Saying it now. San Jose Sharks, they're 0-4, 0-4-2 for 2 points, 12 goals for, 26 goals against, 3-game losing streak. They're looking like the Sharks. They're looking more fun, so if they be especially better when Celebrini comes back. But Ucklund, Smith, and Celebrini are a quarter fun group. So yeah, that's it for the standings. We're doing that next week too. Okay, so I'm gonna read this blog. It's a 4-minute read. That's what this is. I didn't come up with that. It just comes up with that automatically. So let's do it. Let's see if we can read it in 4 to 5 minutes. NHL October 13th to 21st. NHL review. Starting today, every Monday, I will write a blog reviewing the past week of the NHL. Starting this upcoming Sunday, I will do the same for the USHL every Sunday. I'm gonna read this, and then I'm gonna so you'll get the gist of it. Sunday, Dallas goaltender Dallas goaltender Casey Smith, but apparently I didn't add that. Shut out the Seattle Kraken at home in back-to-back shutouts from him and Otter. Dallas wins 2-0 at home to pick up 2 points. Vegas defeated Anaheim. I don't know why I spelled it like that. Don't even judge. Don't know. Anyways, at home to stay undefeated. Yeah. The Jets beat the Wild in a goaltending battle between Connor Hellebuck. Why do I keep spelling things like that? Anyways. And Philip Gustafson. They won 2-1 in OT to pick up 2 points. The Flames won Game 1 of the Battle of Alberta as Edmonton got 2 goals taken back in the first period. Flames jumped on the opportunity and beat the Oilers 4-1 in Edmonton. So that's what I'm going to do for every day. Every Monday, I'm going to do that for every day of the past week. Get what I'm saying? Okay. Monday, Florida without Chuck and Barkov enters Boston and seals the game. Even without the 2 best skaters, Florida still defeats Boston. Ottawa defeats the Kings 8-7 in OT, a barn burner in Ottawa. New Jersey Devils shut out the hockey club to hand them their first loss in franchise history and of the season in New Jersey. New York Rangers prove they are a top contender by beating the Detroit Red Wings 4-1 in New York. Pittsburgh defeats Montreal 6-3 as they score 6 goals. New York Islanders beat the Avs. I meant to say Avs, not the Avas. As the Avs are still winless. Calgary continues a great start by beating the Hawks 3-1 at home. The Caps hand the Knights their first loss as an upset in Washington gets their first win by defeating a strong upset in Washington. Carolina gets their first win by defeating a strong New Jersey Devils team. That win might come in handy down the road, knowing these teams are top contenders in the Metropolitan Division. The Stars are pushed further than they thought by the Sharks, but still come away with 2 points in a 3-2 shootout victory in Dallas. Tampa Bay Lightning holds the Canucks winless with a 4-1 win. The Panthers beat the Columbus Blue Jackets barely in Columbus. The Wild defeat the Blues along with a goalie goal by Gustafson. The Kraken win a statement game in a convincing 7-3 blowout win in Nashville. And then the Oilers come back to win the first game in overtime against the Flyers. Wednesday, Pittsburgh comes out with an extra point in Pittsburgh as they beat the Buffalo Sabres in a back-and-forth matchup. In this matchup, Malkin got his 500th goal, and Crosby got his 600th career goal. The Maple Leafs dominate the Kings with an emphatic 6-2 victory at home. Bruins defeat the Avs, as the Avs remain winless. The Ducks somehow defeated the Hockey Club in a 6-5 overtime thriller at home. Thursday, a battle between the Hawks and the Sharks. The Hawks come out on top with a 4-2 home victory. The Lightning beat the Knights 4-3 after a goal by Nikita Kucherov with 55 seconds left in the game. The Capitals with another upset, this time over the Dallas Stars, at home with a 3-2 win. The Los Angeles Kings suffocated the Canadiens with a 4-1 win on the road. The New Jersey Devils defeated the Senators 3-1 on the road. The Canucks pick up their first win over the Panthers 3-2 in overtime. The Sabres drop a winnable game in Columbus. The New York Rangers defeat the Red Wings again to prove they are legit. St. Louis Blues defeat I meant to say the New York Islanders, but I don't even know how that came out to be. I don't know. Okay, it's fine. It is what it is. Mistakes happen. This is the first time I wrote a blog in literally 3 months. Since the playoffs, that's longer than 3 months. It's been 5 months since I wrote a last blog. 5-6 months since I wrote the last blog. It's a learning process. Beats New York Islanders 1-0 in a sleeper contest because it was 1-0 and 0-0 going in overtime. That was a sleeper contest. The Oilers beat the Preds 4-2 to pick up their second win of the year. Nashville dropped to 0-4. The Kraken beat the Flyers in a 6-4 win. Friday, Carolina beats Pittsburgh pretty handily, 4-1 in Pittsburgh. The Jets go 4-0 in the year with a blowout 8-3 victory over the Sharks. The Avs won their first game of the year in a game they outshot their opponent 49-19. They beat the Ducks 4-3 in overtime. Saturday, the Sabres don't drop this winnable game as they beat the Hawks 4-2. The Stars scored 3 in the third to beat the Oilers 4-1 at home. The Panthers won the rematch of the 2023 Stanley Cup 4-2 in overtime. What am I talking about? I meant to say 4-3 in overtime. The Blues squeak out a 4-3 victory over the Kings at home. The Senators beat the Tampa Bay Lightning 5-4. The Detroit Red Wings beat the Predators 5-2 with 2 empty netters. The Preds dropped to 0-5 to start the year. The New York Rangers won the battle of top Eastern Conference contenders 4-1 over the Leafs. Igor trying to prove that he is worth the money and is doing well so far. The Capitals win another upset game 6-5 in overtime over the New Jersey Devils. The New York Islanders bounced back of a 1-0 overtime loss and beat the Canadiens 4-3 in a shootout. The Canucks pick up their second straight win in a 3-0 Kevin Lankinen shutout. The Wild win a 3-1 game over Columbus Blue Jackets. The Hockey Club win a late game with a game-tying goal. Take this one 2-1 in overtime over Boston. The Kraken handed the Flames their first loss of the year in a 2-1 overtime victory. Sunday, the Jets improved the 5-0-0-0 on the year with a statement 6-3 win over the Pens in Winnipeg. The Avs pick up their second straight win, this time over the Sharks. Annunen played a great game. The Los Angeles Kings beat the Ducks 4-1. See, every Monday I'm going to be doing this about the past week, and then every Sunday I'm going to be doing the same thing for the USHL. This is a good way to keep up. I already explained this earlier on, my thoughts about this. 47-minute podcast episode today. And I also want to mention, I don't know why I just remembered it 47 minutes in the podcast episode. I'm not 100% sure why it only says a 30-second podcast episode yesterday, because it was a great podcast episode yesterday, so I really hope that gets fixed. It says, on the thing before you click into the video, it was over 47 minutes long, which you're 37 minutes long, on which it was, and it just, when you click onto it, it's only 30 seconds, and then it just ends. I really hope it fixes that, because that was a good podcast episode. If it doesn't, that's very unfortunate, but if it does, that's good. I'm very happy. But yeah. That's going to do it for the podcast episode. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Turn on the post notification in case you missed yesterday's podcast episode, and I guess it didn't really save, so you might have. Post notifications when you click subscribe if you haven't already, and if you have even, there'll be a bell. Click that bell, click all. Then you will see every time I go live, it'll give you a notification on your phone. So please do that for me. Leave a like in this video if you haven't already. If you have already, do not click it because then it will unlike this video. If you haven't already, click the like button. If you have, do not click it again. And yeah, that's really it. Continue to watch these podcasts. I hope you continue to watch these podcasts and continue to enjoy these podcast episodes. I will keep doing these daily. Tomorrow is episode 18 of season 5. I will see you then. Yeah, I hope you enjoy the rest of your night. Peace.